Okay, guys, I see many of you have joined. We can start. Can you see my screen? A quick confirmation, please.
Yes.
Okay, right. So can you see now I'm going to virtual machine 2. So what did I do here? I changed the port. Can I change this port? No. Ultimately RDP इसी पे चल रहा है. बस ये port मुझको change करना है. Got it, guys? So whoever is accessing, you should know that if you want to access to this machine, you should use this specific port. Yes, is it clear? Yes, no, maybe any doubt?
So while taking that RDP connection for the particular port, we can just edit over there, right? Beside the IP.
Yes. Next to IP, you use colon and then you type the
Yeah.
port, the desired port. How will you know this code? Obviously, your network administrator or your client,
Yes.
जिसने भी ये setup किया, they will let you know that this is the public IP address you have to use and this is the specific port you have to use if you want to take RDP to 10.2.0.2.0.5. I mean, here I'm telling you the IP address, but normally they will say, okay, if you want to take RDP to VM2, this is the IP address you have to use.
Mhm.
But this is okay only for there are only 2 or 3 virtual machines, right?
Now you can have a
If
number of
there
it.
are,
You have 66,000 ports. आप one से लेके कितने भी use कर लो, doesn't matter. I mean, unless they are being used on something else, you can use any. बहुत सारे ports है. But you'll never see that. Why do you want to? Why would you expose all your machines to internet? Even if it is via firewall, no one wants to do that. What will you say? That you got the access to this machine. Now let's communicate using the private IP. You're logged into this machine. You can communicate with other machines via uh, private IP. Got it?
okay.
Okay. Now I told you that every traffic on the Azure firewall, inbound or outbound, every traffic it's blocked. So if I have a machine, if I have a website on this server, will you guys be able to access that website? If this is this, I have one website. I'm saying I have one website on this one. Will you be able to access this website?
No.
Why? Because I have firewall and it is not allowing you to. Imagine if I didn't have a firewall, by the way, using this IP, the one which you looking at the screen, will you be able to access my website from your laptop?
Mm,
Let's say there is no firewall.
Then using public IP, we can access it, right?
Yes. Using this IP, you cannot. This is a private IP, right? But
yes.
here I do not want public IP on my machine at all. Right? I do not want the public IP at all on my machines. So, and I want to host a website as well. I want you to use website. So what I can do, similar thing which we did for RDP, same things we can create, add rule, this one, whatever names you want to create different. Source is IP address. It is coming from anywhere. It is okay. Destination IP address. Again, what will be the destination IP address, guys? I
Firewall.
want you to access my website. So will I give you my private IP?
No. Firewall IP address.
Firewall app. So my destination is this one. Protocol, it's TCP. What is the destination port, guys? If I'm talking about a website, website का
80.
default क्या होता है? 80. Yes. Now here I am going to put 10 dot
Private IP address.
the private IP of my machine. So it is 10.0.2.0.4. Okay. And again 80. ये मैंने फिर से create कर दिया rule. Now if you use this IP address, you should be able to access my website and my machine doesn't have a public IP. Can you guys please go ahead and check this IP address I have pinged in Zoom chat? It should show VM1 UT-Kloud website. Let me know if you guys are able to access.
Yes.
Yes. So look at this. This is how I am hosting a website and not even using a public IP. Now, similar case, I have another website 05. What can I do? Can I simply, if I do 05, does it make sense? when
No.
you go for public IP तो कहाँ पर जाएगा वो वेबसाइट? यूटी क्लाउड पे जाएगा या टी सॉफ्ट पे जाएगा?
05 वो तो जाएगा TCP VMP
Similar,
पे
same
जाएगा।
thing. Yeah, same thing we have to do. No, you'll have to change the destination port. इसमें कोई amend
Destination
कर दो. So
factories
what did I do? I put 3000 here. Look at this. Now I have created another rule here. So if you just go ahead and same IP, just put a port number 3000 here and check if you are able to access website. And that should show my Tsoft virtual machine 2 website. So it's same public IP, one with port 80, but port 80, you don't have to write it separately. Why you don't have to write it separately? Why don't we do this?
because in the Azure Firewall we can copy the policies.
No, my question is something else, guys. If I'm accessing my website and it should go to port 80, so why don't I have to write port 80 like this? Like I have to
Because
write
by
3000.
default port for the website is 80.
80,
By default, it is 80, it's okay. Yes, so when I'm using a browser tool knows that it is 80. Like RDP tool knows it is 3389, browser knows it is 80. Hence, I don't have to put it separately. But if there is any other port, then I'll have to type it. Is it clear, guys, to everyone?
Yes. Yes.
So this is how you can use it. Again, you will never face this problem that एक ही public IP पे 50-60 चलाना है, कितने rules बनाओगे? It is not going to happen. Never. It is not going to happen ever. Right? मुश्किल से एक या दो ही rules बनते हैं, and then they will say you connect to this machine, and from that machine you can connect to rest of the network. So this is your TNAT rules. Network rules, similar. It is just outbound. Okay. If I want to block something from here, what is the source IP address? Let's say I want to block your IP address. I don't want anyone from my virtual machine to access Google. Okay. So what I can do, get the Google's IP from somewhere and do it here. So sorry, in this case source should be
Machine.
no,
Sorry,
not
firewall.
machine.
IP address of
Firewall. Destination should be, port should be 80 पे भी नहीं चाहिए मुझको, 443 पे भी नहीं चाहिए. IP address 8.8.8.8. This is Google's TNS IP address, by the way. So I can create this rule. Here I'll have to deny. Or I have to allow actually. Everything is denied by default. Let's say I want to allow something. So this is how I can allow. Got it? By the way, priority is between 100 and 65,000. So that is not 1,000. That was correct. That was 100. Yes, guys. Did you get it?
yes.
Yes.
But tell me one thing. Now I have selected source as 13, my this IP address. Whose IP address? Firewalls. Is my virtual machine, if I log into my virtual machine, let me log into my virtual machine first. If I log into my virtual machine, is my virtual machine's IP address 13.68.228.27? Is that the case?
No.
So is this rule going to help me at all? Yes, guys. Is this rule going to help me at all? So what do I have to do to make sure that my traffic from my virtual machine, whenever it goes outside, it should go from
Right
this
rule.
IP? What do I have to do? Yes, guys. What do I have to do? Did you understand the question? I'm saying I want to allow Google ठीक है, and this is the IP address it is going from, and this is it. But my question is this my machine's IP address?
No.
This is not. This is a public IP address of my firewall.
This is
So how do I
firewall.
make sure that my machine's traffic, it goes through this IP address?
By default, what happens is because of the firewall, the outbound traffic, whenever we are requesting for any page or anything in the browser, that will go to the destination part. I mean, to the route, to the firewall area, and it will then evaluate whether.
No, it won't go to firewall. For this, if you want to control this, you will have to use the very first practical which we did, which is, what did we start with today's session?
UDR.
UDR.
Yeah.
So if you want all those machines in a subnet should go somewhere, so you'll have to create a UDR. And where you selected next hop, if you remember, let me show it to you. In next hop, you will select your firewall. So all your traffic from that particular subnet, it will route from your firewall, and then these rules which you are applying, they will make sense. Is it clear, guys? Yes, no, maybe. Are you getting it? Are you not getting it? By the way, this means every IP address, wherever it wants to go. So here you will select your virtual appliance, and what IP address will be here? This will be your
Firewall.
firewalls. Which IP address firewalls? Public or private? This will be private IP address.
Private
This
IP.
will be private IP address because ये सब internal move हो रहा है, right? This will be the private IP address of your, like we had for our router. बस router की जगह यहाँ पर आपका किसका IP address आ जाएगा? आपके firewall का IP address. If you go ahead and search for your firewall, so this is the IP address which you will be using. Yeah. So now this will make sure that all your traffic from this subnet, या जिस भी subnet पे आपने इसको लगा दिया. Okay, now you'll make sure that you create this UDR in the same region, etc. And once that is done, you attach it to all the subnets. जहां पर भी आपकी machines है, you attach it to them. My machines are in default. So it's done. Now whatever traffic from my machine, it will go through the firewall. And now whatever rules are applied on the firewall, they will make sense. Got it?
Yes.
Okay, so this is your Azure Bastion, your firewall, and UDR. We have covered these topics, very important topics. In terms of interview, what they ask you is most of the time difference between NSG and firewall. We have thoroughly checked. Here I have written as well, right? And yes, this one more thing. Let me show you. Application rules. यहाँ तो हमने कर लिया IP केस में. But do you think Google has only one IP? This rule which I was talking about. If I do 8.8.8.8, ये तो ब्लॉक हो जाएगा, ठीक है? But do you think Google has only one IP?
No,
Or for
there are
that matter,
many.
allow हो जाएगा. So do you think Google has only one IP? No. So what if
No.
I want to do using some names? Then your application rules, they come in picture. This is what you don't get in your this one. You don't get it in your NSG. NSG, it's all about IP. Here you can source IP. It's your IP. This is your firewall's public IP, whatever the range was, 13 or something. Okay. protocol, let's say 880 and 443. I want to allow the traffic, right? Now, instead of typing the IP address, this is what I get here, fully qualified domain name. What does it mean? Here I can type google.com. So now whatever the IP address is of google.com, if they change their IP address in the background, it is not impacting me because I have allowed google.com, right? And we have www.google.com, mail.google.com, drive.google.com. So if I want to cover everything, I'll simply come here and put one star and dot star.google.com as in everything.google.com. So this will be allowed. Is this clear, guys, to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, guys. What about others? Imran, Prabhat, Sunil, Razak. Are you guys
Yes.
getting it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all we had to
Uh,
do. Yes.
एप्लीकेशन रोल में से हम लोग star.google.com कर रहे हैं तो वो कोई भी google.com का जो भी साइट है वो अलाउ कर रहा है अगर हम
Right.
लोग एप्लीकेशन रोल क्रिएट कर रहे हैं तो
Right.
नेटवर्क रोल में हम लोग एक आईपी एड्रेस गूगल का मेंशन कर रहे थे तो
Right.
वो उसी को सिर्फ ये कर रहा है
Right.
तो
Tomorrow, if
दोनों में से
Google tries
बेहतर
to,
ये है
if tomorrow Google, they plan to change their IP address, then our rule becomes useless because it's still google.com, but they have shut down their 8.8.8 and they have started 10.10.10. No, it's a public private IP, just giving an example. Sorry, you're asking something?
नहीं वही के फिर तो एप्लीकेशन रोल क्रिएट करना ही बेहतर है ना
That depends. It's not always
इंस्टेड
for
ऑफ
Google.
नेटवर्क
No, it's not always for Google. Sometimes it is always better to go with IP address. Why? Because again, I am a vendor, I'm working for some client, or I'm client, some vendor is
ओके
working for
ओके
me, and I have a particular application, and I know that application will be working on only on that IP, or I want to give access
या
only on that particular
अंडरस्टूड
IP, right? इसलिए most of the time IPs are also useful. Got it, guys?
अंडरस्टूड
Any doubts, any questions? I'm going to delete the firewall. Yes, guys. Meanwhile, any doubts, any questions you have? Yes, no, maybe. If not, I'll be deleting this very costly resource. So whenever you practice, guys, please make sure you practice Bastion, you practice firewall, capture screenshots, and then delete it immediately. Got it, guys? Any doubts, any questions, please?
नो
Fine, then if you guys don't have any questions, we can stop the session for today. At least practice Azure Bastion today. Firewall, if you don't want to, it's okay. Or at least create a firewall or create policies, delete policies, check what are these options, what do you see. Because to do the practical of a firewall, you will require two machines, etc. It's a heavy task. और उतना ज्यादा पूछता नहीं है कोई फायरवॉल के बारे में. It is a must task. But when I say ज्यादा नहीं पूछता है, doesn't mean they don't ask. They don't ask in detail. They will ask 2 or 3 questions. For example, uh, difference between firewall and NSG. How do you uh, how do you handle the policies? So you should know there is a service called firewall manager. You don't directly have firewall, you have a firewall manager. Firewall manager, what all it does, it takes care of firewalls, it takes care of firewall policies, it takes care of security partner. अगर किसी और से भी आपने ये कर रखा है पालो ऑल्टो वगैरह कोई थर्ड पार्टी सिक्योरिटी सर्विसेज से, डीडोस प्रोटेक्शन. इट ऑल्सो चेक्स कि ये फायरवॉल कौन कौन से वर्चुअल नेटवर्क पे लगी है. It also checks, look at this. It has been assigned here and it's not assigned here. Hub and spoke वाला यहाँ से ये करना है virtual hub. You can create a hub here. This is hub and spoke. All these things you can do using firewall manager. So you should know that there is a service called firewall manager. Under firewall manager, you can create Azure firewalls. You can create Azure firewall policies. There are parent policies. There are child policies, right? One firewall get applied to only one virtual network. You cannot distribute it. However, to use only one virtual network or only one firewall for all networks. It's possible using hub and spoke model. So these are few things you have to remember. You require Azure Firewall Bastion, Azure Firewall Subnet for Azure Firewall. For Bastion, you require Bastion Subnet. These are the key things you have to require, which you can say in your interview, and that will be enough. Got it, guys? Any doubts, any questions here on any of the topic which we did today?
No, not right now.
Okay, great then. I'll stop the session. See you guys tomorrow at 3 p.m. So we have enough time. Please make sure you at least complete Bastion. I don't even have to send a task. Create a machine without public IP, right? Without public IP, create a machine and uh, deploy a Bastion. Give me a shareable link. Just give me the screenshot of that shareable link, and that should be enough. But please make sure you delete it. Okay? Please make sure you delete it. Don't just leave the Bastion as it is. Your balance will be emptied completely. Okay, guys, I'll be stopping the session now. See you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.